love a good cup of horchata. Like, you know, when we're going to the mercado, when we're going to do shopping, we're in parties, you know, in parties we always need that horchata. You get that notes of cinnamon. For y'all who do not know what's horchata, horchata is a beverage that was originated from Spain and then brought here to Mexico. And it's a very popular in the Hispanic community. It's a drink with rice milk and cinnamon. And it has this, oh my god, so creamy, and then like you get the little cinnamon notes, and it's just the best. So imagine that with an iced coffee, it's gonna be bomb. So let's get started. So this is what the ingredients to make your at-home iced coffee or horchata. Awesome. Instant coffee. I have this instant coffee. Any instant coffee can work, like Nescafe, whatever you have at home. Any instant coffee works. Rice milk. So for any rice milk, you can be doing fine. You can make your own. And then you need some creamer. I'm using Oatly with oat milk. This is the barista edition. So this oat milk is, and it's also vegan. Sugar, brown sugar, and there's white sugar. This is your choice. You can choose whatever you want. You can use brown sugar if you like the taste of brown sugar, or white sugar. We're going to be using brown sugar today. You also need a French press. A French press is good. One also thing you can do, you can also buy like filter, like your coffee filter to use it, but we're using a French press. Or you can also use a tea kettle that has a filter. It will do fine. So, but a French press is a good thing to do. And at the end, you'll be needing your cinnamon and a glass jar or a cup, whatever you prefer. So let's get to it. What we're gonna start is with the instant coffee, you know. Why I prefer instant coffee rather than brew coffee? Because instant coffee has a stronger, more defined taste. It's gonna give it a stronger, more like a cold brew kind of taste. And yeah, it's gonna blend better. And we're gonna do another one. 2 tablespoons of instant coffee. So we have our 2 tablespoons of instant coffee. Depends on how strong your coffee wants. I like my coffee strong, but if you don't like strong coffee, 1 tablespoon is just enough. So I'm gonna get 2 tablespoons of sugar. I'm using brown sugar again. We're gonna have 1 cup of water because we need to have a blend. So let's get to it. So I'm gonna tell you why you guys need a French press. If you guys don't have a French press, that's okay. You can also use a cheesecloth, but you need something that can actually try to take the cinnamon out with the rice milk, because you don't want chunks of cinnamon in your coffee. I don't know if you're into that. If it's that's your secret to keep. It's 1 cup of rice milk. So we're gonna put 1 cup of rice milk. And yeah, so the French press is amazing because it can actually filter it out, like that cinnamon, so it doesn't touch it. So then we're gonna do 1 cup. And I'm just gonna do, so I'm gonna do another cup. 2 cups. So perfect. So 2 cups of rice milk. And now we're gonna do 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Mix our things together. So we're using teaspoon. So actually cinnamon is going to be kind of like in the top, so you kind of want to just keep mixing it like that until you get the cinnamon all incorporated into the rice milk. We're going to let that in the side for a little bit, just for a little bit, so it can kind of get the flavors of cinnamon together. Awesome. So now we have, so I let this aside for like 5 minutes. It's just a little brew. So now I'm gonna put my French press, and you see right there, it takes my French press and boom, take it out. I like to keep a little bit of cinnamon top, but it's your choice of all, you know. So and then like if I don't want a little more, I can take more out. So now we're gonna filter it out. So and pour it into our coffee mixture. And we're gonna go back with another mixture. So mix se vea bien. Amazing. So you have this nice base here. We're gonna put our oat milk. So our oat milk, I'm gonna give it a nice 1 cup of oat milk. One more cup of oat milk, so 2 cups of milk. And perfecto. Our amazing then iced coffee is done. And ta-da! You have your nice horchata iced coffee. And that's gonna be so good for you guys. Thank you for joining me. And stay tuned for next recipes.
Amazing, right? Beautiful. Hello, y'all. This is Southtown Cell, and welcome to the next episode of Passion for Fashion. In today's episode, we will be uncovering tips and tricks on how to stay warm and cozy during the colder months of Central Texas. You know, Central Texas has a very unique climate, I would say, because I think everyone would agree that Texas has very bipolar weather, in which, like, you can have one day where it's extremely cold in the morning and suddenly it can get very hot. So I introduced y'all a little lookbook of how to adapt to this unique style and to this unique weather in Texas, you know. And the most important thing to think about while choosing your own styles is to have fun and to be confident, and, you know, to think about that there's no rules in fashion. You know, and you don't have to wear this combination. Literally spice it up with anything that's simple. You don't want to distract anybody from the design of your jacket. So I chose this top. It's a silk top. I feel like it adds, you know, more variety. You know, elevate your look with heels. And, you know, just to keep y'all cool, you know, you can style, you know, some leggings under some shorts or some skirts. And I thought this was really fun because, you know, it's like kind of adapting to the climate in Texas, in Central Texas. You know, as I said earlier, it gets, you know, it could be very hot, it could be very cold, it could be in the very mid-range. You know, it's not always easy to prepare for, you know, what's coming in Texas. So and, you know, sometimes it's fun to break the rules. Sometimes you just want to show different textures and different colors, different patterns. So it's very important to mix and match because, you know, sometimes you'll get bored of what you wear all the time if you wear the same thing. So it's always good to experiment with your closet. Alright, y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning in to today's episode, and y'all have a wonderful holiday season. Bye.
our background is gonna be blue, but not too dark, just a little bit less blue, and little bit dark, not too dark as this is. We're gonna need this guy. Is if it's better if it has texture, like this type of brush uh, has this texture because it's the crystals, natural
Like
crystals.
this?
Let me see it. Okay, no, that's pretty soft. You can use that. There's no problem, but it is flat. Let me see it.
It's very like
It's
here.
it's pretty soft, right?
Yeah, it's like not dense.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
exactly.
sure
It's
that's a
not that. Okay,
watercolor brush.
you're right. You're right, Aden. We can add, please, this blue and white.
Does it have to be that shade of
Just
blue?
two lines. This, if it's lighter,
Yeah.
you don't need to add white. It's because this is pretty dark. You can mix it, and there's two ways to mix this. It can be here, like this, or directly in the canvas. In this case, in the paper. You know, it's is dark, but it's not too dark.
My blue is like way too thick.
Oh, mine's
Water
like
it down.
thin.
Just if it's too thick, just you can touch the water like this, just a little touch of the water now, and then with that you can do it again. It's gonna be better to to spread.
Alrighty.
We're gonna touch the pre-tip of the results, a little bit of white and a tiny drop of water. Look, both sides. We will need just a little bit of color, and we're gonna add in this part. We're gonna do this. We're gonna spread out, but just in a line. Okay, we're gonna spread out, but in the sides. You're gonna spread the sides out like this. If it's dry, you can touch lightly, just a pretty touch, little touch in your water, and then you can continue. No worries if you leave some marks. That happen, and it's kind of the fog in the woods is interesting. It's kind of lighter in this part, and you're gonna do exactly the same, but with a dark blue. Just a little touch of water in your dark blue. Look, just a little touch here, and then you can start doing exactly the same, but just in this part.
Can we get the next step from Miguel?
Yes. Are you ready? Or did you finish with this step, with this stage? That's great. Okay. Perfect. I'm going to touch the little bit of black now. We're going to work with black. And as we did with the blue, the dark blue in this area, we're going to do the same, but with a little bit of black. Just only just a bit, just a little. And I'm going to touch a little bit of black from the palette or plate, anything you are using, but I'm going to touch the water. Just slightly touch in your water. And then we're going to do this. Look. Just spread out.
Triple on the top.
Yes, on top you're going to do this. And then you can wash your brush. Like this. Just wash your brush. Take off the excess. And with wet brush, before it's dry, wet brush, lightly wet. You're going to blend, you're going to make that shading again.
Oh, I decided I don't like tempera paint.
Yeah, me too. It feels like watercolor, but like you can't control how much water you use it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I highly recommend acrylic, guys.
I like acrylic. That's what I'm using because I couldn't feel it.
Yes, next step, you're gonna do exactly the same, but here. Excellent. Okay, guys, now we're gonna start with the Bob Ross tree, style.
Oh, I hate
Uh,
those trees. They look
because
so hard to do.
yes, kind of. Sometimes it's we need just a little bit of practice, but uh, we're gonna paint with that brush, same brush. If it's but if it has texture, perfect. If not, just try to do this just to spread just a little bit, the bristles. But enjoy the process. I'm touching you. Look at this. I'm touching my color. This is the bold black with no water. I'm just touching with the tree tip of the bristles. And okay, now look at this. In the third part here, in the side, I'm gonna do the pretty, just barely touching the paper. I'm gonna make a little line, thin line. I mean, look, that's my guideline. You don't have to make lines like straight lines. Just with your brush. Always there is opportunity to retouch it. No worries, it's just little by little. You don't have to saturate the spaces. Never miss this. You can add more branches at any time. Just look, be gentle. You just barely touching the paper. Remember, there is some kind of law principles in here to use the brush texture. And if there is texture in the brush, it's easier to paint textures, to leave texture in the paper or canvas. Okay? Less pressure, more texture. I really like this type of project. It's minimalistic, but it doesn't need a lot of elements. The most important in a painting is sometimes less is more. It's very important in composition. Remember, if this is too dark, it's a big element in your composition. Look like this, fine. It's heavy. We can make two elements just to break that symmetry. Two elements, but not too dark. Just pretty semi-transparent colors. Be two elements here, and thanks to that, you can reach balance. And for that, you want to create harmony, and that's beauty. It's important to always to consider the most important, which is the composition. No matter if it's something figurative like this, or if it is something abstract. Remember, abstract is kind of the same, but instead of lines, instead of this color like this as well, we have different elements like shapes, like geometric shapes, or it could be organic shapes, colors, and textures. But if you don't mind, guys, we can continue now adding water, like pretty semi-transparent layer. We're gonna add some transparent layer. Half color, half water. Like dirty water, but a little bit darker than that. Look at this. Like dirty water. This. Oh. Never saturate. You don't need to saturate water color. Okay, I'm gonna do exactly the same, guys. Different height. One of the trees is smaller, or maybe it is in a different part of the mountain. It looks like it's shorter, but it's not. That's my story. Look, I'm gonna do exactly the same. Watering line. Maybe you're watching it because it's a little hard to see it because it's just a veil of color. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna retouch it. I think yes, you can see it. Look, now I'm gonna do exactly the same type of tree. It's beautiful. I'm proud. With the half of making intensity color. Look at shading. It's not too tall, it's not as tall as one, but they're not fancy. They know that when the sun shows up, it's going to be joy. And that's it. Look at this. There's two other guys. One of the most difficult techniques, this next step. Look at this. Look. And that's it. That's the only thing we need.
You got us scared again.
Okay. Now the part that I love is when I take it off. When I take the tape off the paper.
I did not.
Ew, I did my signature ugly. That's fine.
Oh, wait, I export everyone. Also, I put it on like after I had already finished. So maybe not the best.
And that's it for now. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I was happy to see you guys. Thank you.
Congrats, Ethan. Congrats, everyone.
Congratulations again. Take care.
to the book club with the Caminos Literary Collective. I'm Ethan.
I'm no.
I'm Kiona.
And Amy's because Amy's at a family gathering and her family's being really loud. But that's Amy, or however she is. Okay, so we're excited to read you today A Brief Meditation on Breath by Yesenia Montilla. Nell's gonna read this poem. It's Nell's first time back in book club after like a week, so we're really excited. So yay! Okay.
Okay, so A Brief Meditation on Breath by Yesenia Montilla. I have diver's lungs from holding my breath for so long. I promise you, I am not trying to break a record. Sometimes I just forget to exhale. My shoulders held tightly near my neck. I am a ball of tense, living a tumbleweed with steel-toed boots. I can't remember the last time I felt light as a dandelion. I can't remember the last time I took the sweetness in my diaphragm and expanded it into song. Tell me breathing is everything, meaning if I breathe right, I can live to be ancient. I'll grow a soft furry tail or be telekinetic, something powerful enough to heal the world. I swear I thought the last time I'd think of death with breath was that balmy day in July when the cops became a raging fire and sucked the breath out of Connor. But yesterday I walked 38 blocks to my father's house with a mask over my mouth and my nose and mouth, the sweat dripping off my chin only to get caught in fabric and pull up the rain. And I inhaled small spurts of me, little particles of my DNA. I took into body my own self and thought I'd die from so much exposure to my own bereavement. They're saying this virus takes your breath away, not like a mother's love or like a good kiss from your lover's soft mouth, but like the police. It can kill you fast or slow, dealer's choice. A pallbearer carrying your body without a casket. They say it's so contagious it could be quite breathtaking, so persistent it might as well be breathing down your neck.
Hey, what's the reading?
Now I need to breathe.
Right. And even like the structure sort of has it so that you're sort of like gasping for breath almost because it's so like rhythmic in a way and like propulsive. Anyway.
It just keeps going. I thought I kept thinking I had to end the sentence, but it just like kept going.
Yeah. It's like so much to say, so much to do. Okay. Okay. So our first question will be Fiona's.
I don't exactly have a question though, because it's very simple to understand.
Do you have more of like a comment maybe? Like why did it, because this poem was like chosen by you, like you wanted to read this poem.
Or
I
maybe
don't know, I just liked it.
I'm in a restroom now.
Thank you, Amy.
Maybe explain like what you thought about it, because I didn't really understand it personally.
Yeah, actually.
So like, how did you interpret it?
Okay, let me try. I have to think about how I can make this into words, because like I can think it and I understand it, but it's harder for it to. I guess I don't know how to say it. Can we skip to the first question said and then come back?
Wait, yeah, like let's we'll come back to it. Okay, so how does the poem, like, because it's written very like in the current age, like it's written in the past 6 months, as sort of the pandemic, so even like so how does like the current events sort of influence like how like the reader or how the speaker sort of talks about breath, her own breath, breath of others, breath as an abstract?
I didn't realize that it was so recent. I was like, is she talking about COVID?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I had the same question. Like I was like, wait a second, and like
Yeah, copyright 2020, July 21st.
Wow, yeah.
So like in the middle of everything.
Yeah. It's so weird talking about it like it's still like, I don't know.
Because it's still happening.
Yeah, it's still happening. So like was that the middle? Like are we almost, But yeah. I guess my thought immediately went to like because like she really talks about like where does like the cops, like where is that?
The police.
Oh yeah, the last time I think of death with breath was that balmy day in July when the cops became a raging fire and sucked the breath out of Garner.
Yeah. So it's like I was sort of thinking about like the like I can't breathe, you know, as George Floyd and so many others have said, like I have diver's lungs from holding my breath so long. But like not that it has to exclusively be about that, but I think that's like we can think about it. Like that's a facet of that. Like I have held my breath for so long. When I originally thought that, like reading the poem, I sort of felt like just the like anticipation of waiting for something. Like when you have anxiety, so you're like sort of like anticipating something. And sometimes I catch myself and I like almost like I have to gasp because I hadn't realized I'd been holding my breath for so long. You know, I hadn't realized I'd been like thinking about something so deeply, you know, or just stressing about something for so long that like I can't like my brain just stopped breathing. Like it was like, you know what, we'll stop that for a second until you really need it, you know. So I was sort of thinking about that and like maybe like I don't know. So I think there's multiple interpretations of this poem, like, and it's sort of like it doesn't really feel like it's like a concept poem, like about a specific concept, so much as it is about like multiple concepts. It's all sort of like interweaving and like playing against each other, you know.
They all weave around the one idea of breath and like how important it is. I guess important's not like the best word to use, but for lack of a better term.
Yeah, like I guess all the ways like from holding my like I'm a ball of tints living. I can't remember the last time I felt light as a dandelion, you know. Breath is sweet, you know, breath is light, you know, holding it, it's like absence is deep. It's like, oh yes, no.
Where she said Garner, she was talking about Eric Garner, July 17th. Oh, so you're right. It was tied to all of that also. Wow, that's some good writing right there.
Yeah, it's
me and
I really like when it comes to her writing, her first line is always really like eye-catching because it's like you see the title and you kind of think you know where it's gonna go, and then the first line kind of like, oh yeah, I know what's gonna happen next, and then it keeps going and you're like, I did not know what was gonna happen next.
That's cool.
Yeah, they tell me breathing is everything, meaning if I breathe right, I can live to be ancient. Like they tell me breathing is everything, you know. And in a way, breathing is everything because like it's the small things that keep us alive, like the small moments we intake, you know, because you can die without food, you can live 40 days, you know. Water, you can live 3 days, you know, but without breath, I mean, you're like you yourself suffocate within, you know, minutes. And so that's like really, you know, it's just really breathing is everything, you know. But I guess it's like about, you know, and think if we think about it, like there are so many like what takes our breath away, like when we're scared, when we're happy, like everything takes our breath away. These moments that are so like fundamental to our lives, we're almost like breathless, but yet we need breath to continue living through that. I don't know.
Also, I like the part where she talks about she walked 38 blocks to her father's house with a mask over her nose and mouth. I feel like that's kind of like a punch in the face for the people who don't wear masks.
Yeah.
She's like, I walked 38 blocks, sweat dripping off my chin, only to get caught in the fires. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
It's like it's just a big like slap in the face.
Yeah, like I looked at this like on Instagram. There was like a quote or like a posting. It was like I feel like really like it was. I don't know if it was angered or sad about like the people like that are like protesting masks. Like that's the most oppressed they felt. It's not even a form of oppression. It's like a form of like trying to protect other people, but like they think that it is their oppression. But it's sort of like no, no it isn't. Like yeah, it's just like come on. But yeah, Amy, do you have any thoughts?
I don't know.
1,000 years later.
Oh my. Well,
that's okay. You know when they tell you that you're about to leave, but they stay and talk another hour.
honestly, literally, like I've been places where like me and my mom are leaving, and then my tia comes out and she like will talk to my mom like on like in the street. And, like I'm like, we're gonna leave, but it's like they'll be there like for an hour.
Just waiting in the car.
Yeah.
And you could take like 2 seconds and they'll be like, I said we're gonna leave.
Yeah, that's different.
Okay. Well, when I first heard of the poem, I think of like taking a breath. It's like telling someone that's anxious, like, oh, it's okay, like breathe, like it's fine. And since it was like really during the pandemic, you would think everyone was panicking, everyone didn't know what to do, everyone was like, oh, this is new, this is different, no one knows how to do this. And then all you think of, like, I feel like they're saying, oh, breathe, it's okay, like we're gonna be fine. Just take a moment and breathe. That's like my instant thought about that.
Yeah. And I sort of think about like that's actually even like take a breath. Like, but some people like, well, they're not able to take a breath, like Eric Garner, you know, George Floyd, like that's sort of like a powerful, like, you know, like it's just moving it into like, yeah, like, I don't know, just like beyond like, I don't know, it's just like me. Most of these like book clubs are just me saying, I don't know, like, no, but yeah, just thinking about breath as something that is so, like I said, like fundamental, but that can be taken away. We either take it away ourselves by being anxious, you know, or like going through things, or like that are taken away from us, you know, by other people, by fear of other people, of other things.
Talking about like the taking of breath, it makes me think of the one part after the like hyphen or whatever, where she's like, they're saying that the virus takes your breath away, not like a mother's love or like a good kiss from your lover's soft mouth, but like the police, it can kill you fast or slow, dealer's choice.
I love that line.
That in itself is like, I think the most powerful part of this.
Yeah,
piece.
that was so pretty. It was so like smooth and like what it means, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dealer's choice. And that's sort of like dealer's choices, but I don't know, like about games or poker or whatever that is. But like it's like the person giving the cards, right? It's not like you choose, it's like dealers. It's like you don't know what you'll end up with. It's like you're you know. So that sort of also like makes you think.
The dealer's choice, they can make it better or worse for you.
Yeah. The question that I had was like, why is she holding? Like what is like what under what like why is she holding her breath? Like what do you think that, you know, it's just like thinking about like all the like what is she holding her breath about? Like I don't know, like we can talk about that if you want. Or Kiona, if you have a question too.
I don't have a question, but I do have something to point out.
Yes.
I don't know if anybody else noticed, but there's one uppercase letter in the entire piece. And that's G for Garner.
Oh.
Wow, yeah.
And I don't know, but that speaks something. Yeah. I don't know. It's just something I wanted to point out though.
And it's also interesting because that's like the middle of the poem almost.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like
even all her eyes are lowercase, which makes it seem like you can tell what her priorities are, like what she's putting above everything else. Like she's like, this is above me at the moment. Like, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like a respect thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually really powerful. Like, you know, even DNA is like lowercase. Like,
mm-hmm.
I feel like this is a poem that wonderfully blends, like, because this 2020 has been like a crazy year. You know, crazy. Like, so many things have happened. Like, and so this poem sort of, you know, like reunites those themes very like in a very personal way. You know, like maybe this poem almost like makes me think about like maybe the speaker's own, you know, struggle with like not only mental health, but maybe they do have anxiety, like just holding their breath, like waiting for something for so long, you know. But then it's also like on top of that, like all that's been happening this summer with COVID, like people dying, like just in Texas alone, like over 1 million people have died, you know. Their breaths have been taken away, you know. Just like it's all like that has always happened, all the racial violence that, you know, that takes people, that, you know, the police, the system of racism, especially the institution of racism in the form of the police. But yeah, so it's sort of like wow, like, and it wonderfully blends that into like, because it's a part of all of our experiences, but we all experience it differently, especially for those that do have like already things that do take their breath away, like yeah. No, I know when you have to say something because
like I was reading the end of the poem again, And I was like, I was trying to figure out why like the dash is
Mhm.
like is for. I was like, do you have to like reread it? Like it just like you like the cycle of reading. But then I was like, I thought of how people go I in the dash, like they stop saying, right?
Yeah.
Like whatever they were. So it's like, and you said breath taken away, like
Oh my god, they ran out of breath.
yeah, or like these like what if they
Or
say
like you're stopping mid breath.
Yeah.
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 Oh wow. Wow.
What?
And that's when we have a master poet, because it's like you can use structure to your like narrative and like advantage. Like, yeah, that's pretty masterful.
Yeah. I like how I described it 1 minute.
I just want to mention also the imagery of a pallbearer carrying your body without a casket.
Yes.
What's a pallbearer, actually?
It's like the people that like are tasked with carrying your casket like to the like hearse, but also like to the like actual the side of like your grave too. I guess like usually it's men, that like are carrying like the casket. Like,
Oh, like the people close to the person.
yeah, or like people that hmm yeah, it's
Oh,
like
without a casket.
yeah.
Oh
Like,
yeah, because how they had to like cover bodies and stuff, but just like
They put them on like stretchers.
yeah,
Yeah, usually it's like 6 people that the person who like died designates to. Like, oh, I want these 6 people to carry me from here to here, here to here.
Well, they
And
were
it's
also
just like
sorry.
it's like meaning of like, oh, I trust you with my body until my grave.
There are also points in history where people kind of like didn't care about the dead, so they would like carry them in wheelbarrows. And that's like, I don't know why I thought of that. I'm sorry. That's it.
no, yeah, that makes sense.
yeah,
That's
Yeah,
so
it was
good.
like
yeah. I guess we can transition into just maybe everybody can give like their final thoughts about the poem and what it like means to you personally, and like I don't know how it inspires you maybe in your own poetry. We sort of talked about like this all the little like punctuation orthographic things, like the m dash, like that, like like you stop speaking, like the lack the choice of capitalization. So maybe you can talk up maybe like both of those things a bit, or like yeah.
Can I go first since mine is quiet right now? And I don't
Yeah.
know if it's gonna be quiet later.
Yes.
Okay, we're good. Okay, I wanted to say like I think it's crazy how like this poem is really good and how it really makes you think about like, oh, like maybe like breathing has like a lot more meaning than you think it does. And it just makes me think like the way it's a she, right?
Yes. Yesenia.
Okay, the way she formatted it, she made it seem like, oh, like breathing takes place, and even in this poem, like in the very end, she takes her last breath, like, and then you breathe a little bit. Like she made it seem like, oh, I said all of this without taking a breath, and it goes back to like the meaning of the beginning of the poem. It's just like take a breath. Wait a minute, take a breath.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like we have the way she kind of said it, she makes me think of like, oh, you're talking, we understand, but you need to learn how to like breathe in between it. Like you're gonna get your point across. You just need to wait a little bit. Like don't go all the way. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. That's really interesting.
That's it.
The structure of the poem, it's kind of like in a sense of like she doesn't give you that room to breathe, because there's no deliberate stopping point where you have to be like okay and talk. It's kind of like it's all in one go. Like
Yeah.
except for that at the very end, the very last line, so persistent it might as well be breathing down your neck. There's that very large space in between breathing and down.
Down your neck, like that. It's like a lull, but it's not like a period, like not a pause, but it's like a soft. Like
It seems like that's the only space for breath, though, is what I
yeah.
feel like.
Mhm.
Like there's no punctuation needed. She's giving you that space because you're not gonna hold your breath through that entire thing. That's like the only breathing room that you have in this piece, which makes it, I think, pack like a better punch, for again lack of a better term.
Yeah. I guess no. Do you want to say?
I don't really write because I'm paranoid, but Um, I really like the way she did like all the structure and everything, and how it just like if you like really looking at it and you're really reading, it like pops out to you, and like I don't know, like I like how she did all the different like topics
Yeah.
because they're all like connected in like breath, like we said. And it's just like it's so cool. That's just like I'm sorry, it's just so cool. Like it's so sad that like that's topics that we have to talk about because like they're happening. Like that sucks. But like the way she brought it up and like just like
like
okay,
like
majestic. That's all I can say.
yes, like the how you can use like I don't know, like I guess poetry, like all art sort of maybe stems from like your inner like cuts, but like you know, like there's like a quote like when you write like you bleed into the page, you know, and you leave it there just to like the reflection, like with that poem we read like a while ago about like that survivors or like victims are interested or like survivors are interested in the representation of their own like survival, you know. Yeah. I guess as a conclusion, thank you everybody for listening to us speak and for like we hope you like the poem. It's once again it's A Brief Meditation on Breath by Yesenia Montilla. Follow us on Instagram at ATX Caminos and like answer all these questions in the comments. We'd love to like hear what you have to say. Yes.